everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is a place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is tech. We're talking tech with the Tech Divas. My co-host, Ms. Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, all the way from sunny California. And we will be joined later by Miss TJ, Terry Johnson, because attention is necessary, especially today with your social media. And I'm Terralina from California Cover-Ups, and we're the BizChicks. Welcome to BizChicks TV. Hi, Fran. How's it going?
All is well. All is well. Everybody is scrambling because it is GDPR is on us today.
You know what? Because I don't open my email, I can't wait to see how many are there. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I spent a fair amount of time this morning going through hours on BizChicks, making sure our website was compliant, and checking our mailing list, turning things on because we use MailChimp, so I was making sure stuff was turned on for anybody opting in, and went over to WordPress. And, to make sure they have some tools in there, people who want to get off your mailing list or want you to export the data that you have on them or delete the data that you have, they put some tools in there as well. So I'm going to wait till TJ comes back because she did a really good article on this, and we'll just let her, the resident guru, have at it, because that was a lot. I was like, man, that's a lot of information. But what are you going to do?
Attention is necessary.
Yes, you need to pay attention. Let's see. The old world gets connected. Okay.
So today in tech history?
Yes, that's what we're doing.
This week in tech history.
This week in tech history. I would like to do more than one because there's sometimes some good little articles that have come up. Happy birthday, Pac-Man. And this was May 22nd, 1980. Namco's upcoming game, Pac-Man, is location tested in a movie theater complex in Japan. After favorable initial testings, the game is slightly tweaked, with the most major change the renaming of the game to Pac-Man. Midway, Namco's U.S. distributor thought that vandals would alter the letter P to an F, and so they changed it to Pac-Man instead of While the game was not officially released until later in the year, October 10th, in the US, the creators of the game considered May 22nd to be Pac-Man's birthday because it was the first time the game was shown to the general public. One of the little known facts about Pac-Man is that it was specifically designed to be popular with women. Most video games of that time had war or sports theme to them, and women were generally not interested in those games. Pac-Man would be the first game popular with both men and women and was the first video game to become a social phenomenon. Pac-Man generated over $2.5 billion by the 1990s, becoming one of the highest grossing video games of all time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, who knew? Yeah, okay. May 23rd, 1903. Paris, France, and Rome, Italy are connected by telephone for the first time. And the guy who wrote this says, feel free to congratulate me for finding this picture at any time. And I'm going to show you the picture there.
Oh, okay.
They connected Rome and Italy for the first time. Old world gets connected. Okay. And then May 24th, 1844, Samuel Morse sends the first telegraphic message over a line from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore. The message, what has God wrought, you know, that's old English, was transmitted to his partner, Alfred Vail, who retransmitted the same message back to Morse. This formally opened America's first telegraph line, launching America's first form of instant communication in history. Oh, this was a text, the first text, 1884. Okay.
Secret sender, because it was in code, right?
The biblical text was selected by Annie Ellsworth, the teenage daughter of the U.S. Commissioner of Patents. So that was the first text message ever. Okay.
And the teenager was involved.
What can we say?
Why am I not surprised? Okay.
The first Major League Baseball game is played in Cincinnati, May 24th, 1935. The hometown Reds defeated the visiting Philadelphia Phillies 2-1. Night baseball caught on around the league very quickly, except for Chicago Cubs, who didn't play a home night game until 1988. Why? I am not surprised. Why am I not surprised is his comment. Okay. The first, that was the first nighttime baseball game was 1935. Okay, May 25th, 1977, the motion picture Star Wars is released in 32 U.S. theaters. The film will immediately break records, unlike any before it, essentially becoming the first blockbuster in history. The film's unprecedented use of special effects sparked a revolution of movies using technology-based visual effects. Perhaps the film's greatest contribution to technology was the creation 2 years earlier of the company's Industrial Light and Magic, which is still leading special effects, which is still the leading special effects house in the industry. And that is this week. Wait, whoa, there's one more. Return of the Jedi, May 25th, 1983. The third installment in the original Star Wars trilogy, Return of the Jedi, is released 6 years to the day after the first Star Wars movie. Return of the Jedi continued to raise the bar in special effects technology that its predecessor set. The film's final space battle, for example, was a size and scale unprecedented at that time. And if I'm not mistaken, Solo comes out today.
Yes, I see a pattern here. May is the month for releasing those movies.
May 25th. Yeah, it was May 25th. And so
Memorial Day weekend, right?
Yeah. So, and now that is your week in tech history. So, I think I binge watched something. I was like, look, I never got to see Rogue Nation, or, you know, because they told the story backwards.
Oh,
they told the story beginning with Star Wars was really the last chapter in the story, and then they backed it all the way up. I was like,
okay.
So
Right, because the movie that came out in 1977, I think, was in the middle of the story. So Steve Lucas had the whole story plotted out. He didn't start at the first beginning. He started in the middle, did 3 movies, and then went back to the beginning, which was the prequel, did 3 movies. Then he's moving forward to the end, and there's 3 movies.
Yep. So he just took us on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. So what we thought was the first Star Wars in 1977 wasn't really the first Star Wars in the series. That's why it's called a saga.
Yes.
There's more than one story. So what we got in 77 was wow, but then George Lucas said, "Wait a minute, I'm gonna blow your mind. I got 9 more. 8 more for you." So. And
he went back and told everybody's history.
Yep.
Like it's like, yeah, you know, how Darth Vader came about, how Princess Leia came about, and Luke. Wasn't it Luke?
Everybody.
Yeah, how everybody got here.
He's telling everybody's story. I mean, if you haven't seen the last 2 Star Wars, then there's some endings. I won't say.
Yes.
But there's some endings to some people, and
Yes, and it was really, you go like, what? Okay.
Yeah, you go. It's really mind blowing. When he said saga, he meant saga. It's
yeah,
he
did.
It's like the Lord of the Rings. It's like it's based in storytelling.
Yes,
which is what I love.
And they did a really good job telling the story.
Yes, they did. Okay. Excellent job. So it's not like a techie nerdy kind. It's really a story.
Let me ask you this. So if I haven't seen all of them, will I be lost if I go see this recent?
No.
Well, no, you won't be lost because this solo movie is about one character's beginning.
Yep.
Okay. He plucked one character out of the Star Wars saga and told his entire story because, like I said, the first Star Wars movie, everybody came out. They were already characters that were established in George Lucas's mind, but we were introduced to them.
Correct.
So he decided it's Disney now because Disney owns it. So Disney decided to go back and tell a popular character story from the beginning because we're curious as to how he became who he was, his character development. That's why I said it's about storytelling and character development, which is the best way to get your message out. Is the characters have to be fully developed.
And they wasn't playing too with them stories. And see, Disney is known for doing stories too.
Oh yeah,
timeless stories. Yeah.
Yes. You can watch I don't know about you, but I can watch Toy Story again. I mean, I watched it years ago with my daughter, but it's like it was on the other night. I was like, oh, well, let me watch it because it's one of those things that's a story. And all of the Disney movies, even the older ones that they've redone and everything, it's all about the story. That's where Walt Disney started. He said, we start with the story, not the character. You start with the story.
Mm. Yep. And the story, and you just tell a good story.
It's timeless. So look, we got fairy tales and Cinderella and Once Upon a Time and all these other stories that they're classics. Because the character development is there, the story arc is there, all those details that people who write books and write stories know what to do. You know, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and the hero, and you know, you have to have somebody to root for. All of those things have to be in there. When they're not, the movie is, I'm sorry to say, it's a bomb. It doesn't work.
And Disney took all of their stories, seeing as they own everything at Disney. ABC, which is now a Disney-owned company, went and took Once Upon a Time and began telling all of the stories of every single character that every nursery rhyme, every fairy tale you ever.
And it's real people. It's not like it's animated or what. It's real people. The parts.
And they took poetic license with some of the stories, and you're going like, oh, I mean, you have all of them: Sleeping Beauty, Prince Charming, everybody, Jack and the Beanstalk. It was just, and it was good. Mm-hmm. Because they kept your attention. When you want to go back and find out what happened next week, it's a good story. It's not like Lost, who started having stuff like malls on the island and all kind of crazy. I'm like, okay, see, that was just not cool. And I'm looking for something else. It was not good. I was like, come on, you guys, don't do that. I was looking for our page, make sure people are here.
It's DJ, she's coming back in.
Yeah. So, anywho, there are people. You got to learn how to tell the story. TJ, you were fine, okay. I mean, we heard you. I mean, your picture wasn't moving. Terry, could you take a look at the Facebook page and make sure it's popping up? Because I'm looking at it and I can't see it on mine.
I will go there. Meanwhile, I want to tell you that Walmart is now featuring Lord and Taylor.
Lord and Taylor, like clothes?
Yes. They now represent 125 premium brands.
Okay. Okay. So here's my thing. You know how I am with presentation. How do you get Lord & Taylor and Walmart in the same sentence?
That's why it's news to me. I had no idea.
I'm like, that is a marketing. Somebody
on their website, they have divided it so that you can have the premium experience. And in there, I guess, are all of their
oh, I found us.
Slick stuff. So I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So
I just wanted you to know. Don't shoot the messenger.
Hey, Pat, how are you? Pat's watching us over on Facebook, and all of you that are watching on Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm still not understanding how Lord & Taylor and Walmart all mixed up together. See, and then if they're going to do that, you definitely don't want the names together. You want to keep them in different wings of the house.
Yes. So let me tell you, let me read this little story over here. I'm going to get off the Walmart site and go to the Verge business. Walmart's website is adding a Lord & Taylor section for premium fashion labels. Walmart announced its website is getting an overhaul back in April, and today it will begin to roll out its new fashion shopping experience.
But
divided into Walmart's everyday brands and premium brands. But from Lord & Taylor for more expensive items. And so you see how slick that looks? It's clean. It looks like Lord & Taylor.
It does, but the point is I have to type in Walmart.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't know if you have to type in Walmart or if when you type in Lord & Taylor, it will go to Walmart. Okay,
that I don't mind because you just don't need to tell me I went through that neighborhood. I'm saying if I type in Walmart and I get Lord & Taylor, I'm gonna be suspect of the
It
stuff.
says when available, people should see these two different categories on Walmart's website.
See?
In the fashion section.
See,
listen, the premium section will include 125 brands, including Lucky Brand, H. Halston, Effie, while the everyday section will be part of Walmart.com's broader fashion destination and also include items like watches and luggage.
So I have a question for the people.
Mm-hmm.
Will you still pay Lucky Brand jean price and you're buying it from Walmart?
I'm presuming that you're going, I don't know. I think what's happening, here's what I think is the deal. They have partnered. It's sort of like having, splitting a store. You know, how remember when we saw in the 90s when two stores were in the same location. So on one side was the pizza place, on the other side was chicken or something. So remember that? I think this is where they're going with that. My problem is if I want expensive cuisine, I don't want it sitting next door to the burger place. You know what I mean?
Terry, I'm just saying, if I'm asking the question, and please answer in the chat or thumbs up, thumbs down. If Lucky Brand jeans are listed,
they're on Walmart's website.
Got it.
Fashion section. The premium section will include 125 brands. I told you some of them.
Yes.
Walmart's newly redesigned website not only features a cleaner, slicker design, as seen in the screen cap that I showed you, but personalization for the person browsing it, as well as specialty shopping experiences that include visual narratives that are going to tell you a story around brands and categories of products. For example, under sports and outdoors, there are click-through visuals for Get the Jump on Family Fun and go from couch potato to fitness pro. As far as Walmart's foray into creating online clothing boutiques, now this is starting to sound like Poshmark. Online clothing boutiques It's a common tactic used by other fashion marketplaces. And it makes sense, especially since Walmart's digital arm already sells high-end names, which I did not know, like Tory Burch and Coach. Did you know you can buy Coach Burch on Walmart's website? So it seems getting people to believe Walmart can be premium. Do I hear consensus over there? Walmart can be premium is still an issue, as when Googling Tory Burch Walmart, the first suggested phrase is, why is Walmart selling Tory Burch?
And why is Tory Burch allowing her stuff to be in Walmart is my question.
The new premium brands from Lord & Taylor's section should be available on Walmart.com within the next few weeks, and orders over $35 will be eligible for free 2-day shipping.
Okay. And the question I have for our audience, would you pay the same $100 pair of jeans under the Walmart brand? I mean, under the Walmart name, because it's still Lucky brand. It's still the Lucky brand. But will you still pay the price tag that that those jeans have when it says Walmart on the label, on the store?
I think they're betting on the fact that they'll get a wider audience. I don't know if they'll still have their own website. I'm presuming that they will have their own online presence outside of just, the boutique within the premium Walmart section.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
This reminds me of Mercedes-Benz when they decided to make a car for everybody.
Okay.
They watered down their brand. They instead of having leather, they went to pleather. Instead of having on the seat, on the panels, the console panels got cheaper. And because they try to appeal to everybody. Yes, it is. I mean, in a luxury market, you're going to have fewer clients, but the experience is different. When you go to Nordstrom, I expect to pay the same for Lucky brand, Tory Burch, and all of that. When I walk into Nordstrom, I'm already geared up, because Nordstrom says it implies a certain level.
Yes.
Walmart implies a different level. Not to say that it's cheap or whatever, it's just less expensive. And so Walmart is associated with lower prices, discount prices, with the little happy face. Falling prices is what I see. And I'm wondering if the clothing is are the prices coming down?
I doubt it. I don't really know.
Okay. I'm just saying, because it just don't make sense to me. That does not make marketing sense.
I thought because it didn't make sense that it was, in fact, news. You know what I mean?
Now, Pat says, it's frighteningly brilliant. People assume that Walmart only caters to the low income set. They're rebranding their brand in hopes of drawing in the posh crowd. If this works, it will be amazing. Pat, if it does work, it will be amazing, but they may need to have another name than Walmart. I'm just saying.
Well, they sectioned it off, and it's called Premium Brands from Lord & Taylor. So I guess when you're in Walmart, if you hit the Premium Brands tab, then you get that sophisticated look, you get that upscale photography and upscale prices. And it may even be that it takes you to Lord & Taylor's website within, you know what I mean? Redirects you to their site. I don't know.
The gateway is still Walmart.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. The gateway still says Walmart.
Like I said, I don't want to have to walk through the gas station chicken place to get to my high-end restaurant. That's not the ambience I was looking for.
So Pat says it makes sense to me. I sometimes get my Haagen-Dazs ice cream at Walmart if I happen to be shopping. You see more shopping there. I agree. Now, ice cream is one thing. $100 pair of jeans or a $300 purse. The signals are mixed. That's all I'm saying. The signal, well, even if I didn't shop there.
I think if I'm getting it from Walmart, I'm questioning: is it
legit?
Yeah. Is
it a knockoff?
You feel me?
And it's possibly not. And TJ, we didn't mind that you were in voice only. That was fine, because we want to hear whatever you got, because I know you got some stuff. We got to hear about GDPR before we get off this call.
Well, let me read you what The Verge has said about it. Since Facebook and Google were hit with $7.8 billion in lawsuits on day one of GDPR.
Seriously?
Seriously. It says the first day of GDPR enforcement, Facebook and Google have been hit with a raft of lawsuits accusing the companies of coercing users into sharing personal data. The lawsuits, which seek to fine Facebook €3.9 billion and Google €3.7 billion, were filed by Austrian privacy activist Mark Screams, a longtime critic of the company's data collection practices. GDPR requires a clear consent and justification by any personal data collected, for any personal data collected from users. And these guidelines have pushed companies across the internet to revise their privacy policies and collection practices. But there's still widespread uncertainty over how European regulators will treat the requirements, and many companies are still unprepared for enforcement. Well, obviously, we got a couple of $1 billion here. Both Google and Facebook have rolled out new policies and products to comply with GDPR. But Scream's complaints argue these policies don't go far enough. Okay, in particular, that should be a long lawsuit. In particular, the complaint singles out the way companies obtain consent for privacy policies, asking users to check a box in order to access services. It's a widespread practice for online services, and we're used to it, right? Checking a box. But the complaints argue that it forces users into an all or nothing choice. Well, you want to use my stuff? Yes or no? You can't come to my house
and start getting picky.
Or you ain't. Okay.
And then you're going to get picky about, okay, well, no, I don't want to sit in that chair. I want to sit in the chair by the window. And then I want to sit at the, no, this is my house. You ain't got to come. Okay, shut up.
A violation of GDPR's provisions around particularized consent. Screams told Financial Times that the existing consent systems are clearly non-compliant. They totally know that it's going to be a violation. They don't even try to hide it. The lawsuits were broken up into specific products, with one filed against, Facebook and two others against Instagram and WhatsApp subsidiaries. A fourth suit was filed against Google's Android operating system. Both companies have disputed the charges, arguing that existing measures were adequate to meet the requirements. We build privacy and security into our products from the very earliest stages, Google said in a statement, and are committed to complying with the EU GDPR. Facebook offered a similar defense, saying they prepared for the last 18 months to ensure that they met the requirements. So I'm just saying.
I have something to say. This dude, I don't know him, sounds like he's got an ambulance in front of him.
You know what I mean?
That's what that sounds like. It's just like, And the reason why I say that is because we live in California, which is a very litigious state. Is that a good way to say it? People like to sue for any little thing and take advantage. There is no, you use the product for free. You get to use Facebook for free. You get to use Google stuff for free. And then they do put privacy things in there. It's really not free. You're going to have to give up something. Well, you give up some information. Hey, TJ, and we're going to let TJ weigh in on this because this right here is crazy. Who is Terry just told us about the dude that's trying to sue Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and the other one for seriously. He's mucking up the water for all the rest of us who don't have an issue. We understand that it was free. I clicked and I clicked through the boxes and I'm like, okay, if I want to use this, I need to agree. I had to do that with my domain names today.
Yes.
If you want to use this, and I paid for the domain names.
I'm just saying that people have just gone crazy on the first day out the box, and that even some of the news sites went down. Terry, you want to tell us more?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is, and like I said on Tuesday, I've been following May Anna from Blog 8 because she really goes deep in the details of a problem. So because one, she has clients that she has to know what to tell them, and then she has to do things for her own website. She has the website, she has membership, she does a bunch of stuff around WordPress development and website. So she has to get the details on the GDPR, which all of, like I said, she had been live streaming all week and she was sharing stuff and this and that. So Mari Smith, which is the Facebook marketing expert, you've heard of Mari Smith, she had a lawyer on her show this week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. And the lawyer was going into the details of the GDPR because she's in the UK.
Okay.
So there was lots of information flying around. And like I said, Mariana figured out what she's doing. And we talked about it on Tuesday, which is a privacy policy and a cookie policy. There's no need to go around. Everybody's, running around getting permission. All these emails, like I said, I sent an email out last night saying, when will these emails stop? I've seen emails that, if you don't sign up, if you don't click yes and agree to this, you'll never get emails from me again. And you have to opt in and you don't have to do that.
Nope.
What we found out was that for GDPR for U.S. citizens that own a website, or you use your email list to target people with Facebook ads. There's two different things. So if you have a website and you ask people to sign up for your newsletter and you tell them, sign up for my newsletter, I'm going to send you tips and tricks and blah, blah, blah once a week. You've seen those, right?
Yep.
And they say, put your name and email address.
Yes.
That's fine. You don't have to change that because you're telling them what they're getting.
Tell them what they want, Sam.
Right. And you're only giving them information. So when they click the subscribe button, they are agreeing, and that's within the GDPR rules.
Okay.
Now, if you're going to use your email list, this is the other side of it. For people who run ads on Facebook, there's an option to bring in your email list. So that you have to get specific information, a specific agreement from them with the little check mark box on your opt-in. You have to say, I'm going to use your email address to retarget you for Facebook ads. There's a wording for it, but basically, if you're using your email list, once you get them on the list, to go over to Facebook and run ads matching that list, that's where you have to have the check mark and everything else. But if right now, if you have a opt-in box that says, sign up for my newsletter, I'm going to send you tips and tricks every week, or whatever the thing is, put your name and address and subscribe, you're good. If you have an opt-in that says, here's a free checklist, a free ebook, a free worksheet, or whatever, plus I'm going to send you weekly newsletters, and you don't need a box for that. You need a box for ads. If you're going to use them once, and this gets back to, what are you doing with their data? That's really what this is. So you have to be upfront and say, this is the newsletter, I'm putting you on it, and I'm not doing anything else. That's fine. But if you're saying, here's a newsletter, here's the opt-in for the freebie, and you don't tell them that you're putting them on a newsletter list also, and you're going to use this email in Facebook or Twitter or wherever, that's the third party. You have to tell them that. Right? So if this is really simple, and then Mayanna said that your mailing list is probably 5% EU citizens, if that. So she said all of this running around crazy, everything, people sending these emails.
Is falling. The sky is falling.
The sky is falling. I'm going to get a fine if you don't click on this. I've seen all kinds of things. But the lawyer also said that you really want to, after this, May 25th, you really want to maybe send something out to your list, saying, do you really want to be on the list because of the new GDPR rules, but not in a chicken hairy cut off kind of way. She says you may want to get their consent again, but she says to do it later because everybody is sending emails and people are getting upset. I've seen memes online, people on social media talking about all of these emails, and this is not the time to send an email saying, you want to be on my list? Click yes, click no. I've seen all kind of things.
Because the answer is going to be no.
Right. So we between Mayanna and Mari Smith and talking to the lawyer, and it's a live stream of Mari Smith's Facebook page. And I put it on my page, and I'll share it in the BizChicks also. That all you need, if you're doing a newsletter where you're giving out information and you're saying, sign up for my newsletter, I'm giving you information that you want, put your name and email address, click subscribe. That's all you need. There's nothing else we need to do.
You heard it right here, folks.
Right. So, but if you're going over to Facebook or to Twitter and running ads, because there's an option in Facebook ads and I believe Instagram that says you can, you import my email list.
Your contacts, yes.
No, not contacts, your email list. The email that you're getting, sign up for when you said get the newsletter.
Okay.
You can't do anything else but what you say. So
no bait and switch.
You can use the email list in Facebook ads, but you have to get the permission. That's where the part for us plays into.
Yes.
So all of this and I said this when we first started talking about it, we're going to find out what we need to do exactly. There was no need to, 3 weeks to go, all these emails, 2 weeks ago, this week, I said when the deadline came, we would find out what we needed to know. And we did. That all you need you have to be upfront. That's all this is. If you have a newsletter and you're saying sign up for my newsletter, I'm giving you XYZ. And if you want to be nice about it, you can say here's the link to my privacy policy on the sign up form or in the email.
Yep.
Just send a link to your privacy policy. Remember, because of the GDPR rules, here's a link to my privacy policy. That's all we have to do in the United States.
And that's
all we have to do.
And it's not as difficult as it seems. And no. I do know, okay, so here's email etiquette 101. You should never take cards that you have acquired from a networking meeting and just put them in your email.
We can never do that because we always had a spam act that goes back a few years that you must get their permission. So that means if you go to a networking event and you get cards, you cannot put them on your email list without their permission. I mean, if you get say you get someone's cards and then say a couple days later you call them all up and ask them, or you send them an email. Oh, I met you at so-and-so networking event. Would you mind signing up for my newsletter? Then you send them a link for them to sign up. You'd never put people in your email list without their express permission. Never. We've had laws like that for a while.
Yep. and they do give you a place, like you should have a landing page.
Yes.
And the landing page,
yes,
the landing page gives them a place to go sign up. So if you want to learn more about BizChicks, go to here and you click, and then you get their name and their email address.
Right. And I've had one of my clients that I've told them that, you know, they're starting to do live stream shows and this and that. And they were saying, go to my Facebook, go to this. And I said, no, you're going to make a landing page that's about you, what you do, what you're doing. And you're going to have them either go to your website or go to Facebook from there. And then that URL you use, like you can make something up that's easy to say.
Correct.
Like BizChicks.live. If you want to watch the show, you go to BizChicks.live.
Yep. Something
like that that's easy to say. So when you're on a podcast or you're doing an interview, you're on TV, you're talking to people at a networking event, you tell them, go to my whatever. And you have a landing page for them to know who you are, what you do, have an option for them to sign up, and all your social media links. And
yep.
It's the one page. It's just a one-page thing. And you let them find you on Facebook or sign up for your newsletter. You don't put them in. It's all about opting in. This is what this GDPR privacy, everything is whittling down to. They have the right to opt in or not. So that's what all the panic is about with the emails. And I've heard people say, well, they're going to unsubscribe from my email. So what? You can't force me to stay on your mailing list. You can't force me. I have the right to unsubscribe whenever I want.
And that means
there's been a lot of panic about it.
And if people are unsubscribing from your email list or whatever, it just means they don't understand your message, don't understand your story, or don't really want what you're offering.
Right. Exactly. So, and even if they unsubscribe, you can see them unsubscribe. So guess what? Send them an email or say, I saw that you unsubscribed. Is there anything that I can do better? Was my content not great? Was my information not great? Did I not answer your question? And, you may get an answer and you may not, but people are panicking, like they're trying to force people to stay in their email jail. That's what I'm calling it. It's like, I want you to stay on my email list jail.
And some of it's bad.
I've got like 1,000 people. I got 5,000 people. They're going to unsubscribe. So what?
Exactly. And some of it's really bad because I went in there and unsubscribed from some people, and just to come back and, you only unsubscribe from this list, not from the other. I was like, you know what? That is not good.
It's a lot of deceptive email practices have been uncovered.
Yep.
Because you're supposed to tell them you're signing up for this, and this is what you get, and I'm not going to use your email address or information. But now people have to come clean, and they're not liking it.
This is not our audience, because all of our audience plays nicely.
We've been saying it. You no deceptive practices in business. This is not how you become successful in your business, by doing deceptive things. The cloaking under the table. No.
Well, see, when you operate like that, I don't even understand how you sleep at night, because they sleep. You're not right.
They know they're not right, but they sleep because it's like, that's what this all the I call the chickens running around with the heads cut off, because you pull back the rug and here's all the bugs, and the rock, you pull a rock, there's worms and things crawling.
Like what? It looked all good,
Listen,
let me read this to you, TJ. Over here it says, major news websites are going down in Europe as GDPR goes into effect. So a lot of them just shut down their stuff. It says, most notably, Tronc, the publishing company that owns Los Angeles Times, Chicago Tribune, and the New York Daily News, and other newspapers, have shut down its entire roster of websites for European users. When a visitor navigates to one of these sites, they are now met with a note explaining that our website is currently unavailable in most European cities. Unfortunately, our website is currently unavailable in most European cities. We are engaged on the issue and committed to looking at options that support our full range of digital offerings to the EU market. We continue to identify technical compliance solutions that will provide all readers with our award-winning journalism. Sounds like a state worker wrote it. But
and you know what that's? It sounds like they waited to the last minute and didn't get that stuff done.
They didn't have
That's what it is. That's what it is. Because see, now everybody in the UK and the EU and everywhere over there, now they've got their standard of level to meet is higher than ours. So they've got to, large corporations, they have to have a data protection manager. They have to have a whole department of people that handle the data over there. So instead, like Fran said, they either weren't prepared or they, like over here, they were like, Mariana was saying some people were telling her that they're going to block anybody from Europe from seeing their website. So that's what they did. But she's saying that's wrong. That's the wrong approach. So over there in those countries, they weren't prepared. So now they got to block people instead of fixing the problem and saying, okay, let's get our data right. Let's make sure our system of signing people up is right. If we're getting subscribers that have to pay, what kind of data are we gathering on that? Our Facebook ads department, what are they doing? Did they get the proper permission? All they have to do is get the proper permission and have a section on their website saying this is the GDPR stuff. This is your data. This is what you do with it. If you want it deleted, we'll delete it. If you want it, we'll give it. They didn't do that. That's why they did that.
I have a question, TJ. So I'm looking on the same article, and there's a whole little section there about data protection choices on the NPR site,
right?
National Public Radio. So they have a box for you to agree and continue or decline and visit the plain text site. So they give you an option. They don't just kick you off. They just don't give you as much as you would get if you agree. So that was one way that NPR handled it. But my question to you is, because we're talking about Walmart. We know they're worldwide.
Yeah.
And they have expanded to premium fashions. Does this mean that in order for them to send you notifications that they got a sale on or da-da-da, you have to agree to those? So you have to opt in?
No, it has to do with data, not information and app. If they're gathering information, name, email address, phone number, address, birth date, any kind of data that's connected to an EU citizen, they have to have a system in place. That's all. That's what we were saying. And Mariana was saying there's no need to panic, and people are panicking with these legal documents. I'm getting stuff in the email about if you don't comply with this after May 24th, I'm like, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. So these corporations have a burden of proof that's higher than a small business in the UK. So, I mean, in the US. So corporations over there and here who provide services and gather data on EU citizens have a higher burden of proof than we do. So, of course, if they weren't prepared, if they didn't, get their things together, so instead of them getting fined, they decided to block. They said, listen.
Well, based on what happened with Facebook and the other guys, Instagram and WhatsApp, maybe it was more appropriate to block until they get their act together.
But see,
that's a choice that they made.
$2 billion is not picked up in the street.
Well, but it's still
the larger corporations have to have a data protection officer and a data protection section in their corporation. Like they have to have a department that's all about handling data from EU citizens. So if they weren't prepared, it was easier and better for them to block those people and say, let's get our things together instead of waiting and letting people come over and gathering fines, because no one knows what the fine is. No one knows how the fine is going to be levied.
4% of your earnings, 4% of your
Well, I just think There were some people that were not prepared.
No, they weren't.
Facebook and Google were prepared way beyond this. Google was sending stuff way earlier than this. So that it wasn't that they were not prepared. I think that the people that Terry was referring to that blocked it, they just didn't. They didn't
think they met the standard. They didn't think
So they figured we'll just block the people
we'll just do
until they get themselves together, which is fine. Yeah, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with
option.
But that's what, you know, and I watch, like I said, I watch Mayana at Blog 8 has a Tips Tuesday newsletter that comes out, and she's just very thorough with information about WordPress and website and development. So she's really thorough. So I know that she was going to dig deep and come up with the answer. And I knew the answer was going to come at the last hour, which it did. And that's what I said. It was never, we were talking about it, but it was like, as far as the solution, we have to wait until the day comes.
Well, TJ, we have to admit that the UK is better at this than we are, because our federal government sends you a framework, and then every state decide how to implement the quote-unquote framework. So if you're going to send an email to somebody in Pennsylvania, it might be different than somebody in California, because each state has to put their flavor on it. Come on.
Listen, like, Terry and I know that if our government was to undertake something like GDPR here, Lord help us, because it would never, it would always be a committee. Someone someone will always rewrite.
Yes.
It would never get done perfectly, because remember the Affordable Care Act website? Remember that fiasco that was like, it's a website, but it just grew and grew, and people would, and it just over budget, but that's our government. I'm sorry to tell you, and we'll tell you that from experience.
That's anything that's moved by committee. You know you're gonna have
yes.
Which is a good segue into the other thing that I wanted to ask a question about, and this is kind of quiet, that net neutrality may still be alive. Because
it's still on the table.
Because some of the people in Congress said, no, we're reversing this.
And I'm trying to tell you, you have to pay attention to everything, because while somebody's dancing over here, Francine, they are passing laws over here.
Yes.
And they're all got to do with, what would you call it? Making money? I don't know.
So, TJ, so,
and you know, Terry and I talk about, you know, working in federal government because we've been in it. But if you haven't been inside of it, you would not believe it. And I'm going to say that there's a show that, speaking of, you know, going back, there's a show called Homeland. If you have heard of it, or if you haven't, please watch that, because it's the most closest feeling I can get, especially this last season, of how the government thinks and the people that we elect and the things that they do, the machinations and things. So
this is why it's so important to really know who you're putting.
If you really want to know what,
because the little worker behind the desk doesn't have any control.
No, not a bit. So I'm saying, watch. If you haven't watched it, I mean, I think there's about 7 seasons. This last season, they have really hit the nail on the head as far as how the government and the things that work behind the scenes. So
it's very interesting. So I'm just glad we didn't have to write the law, friend.
I'm glad I'm not.
So we need some kind of regulation, but I really don't want it, because I know what comes with it.
Well, I think this is more than enough. If we comply with this GDPR, if we even come close, it's more than we could have done.
But see, remember, this GDPR is for if you have a website and you're running a business and you gather data. If you're not doing any of that, you don't have to worry about GDPR at all.
Okay,
not at all.
If you're running a website, but you're not sending out,
you're not collecting
data.
If you have a website where you're putting up recipes and you're not gathering emails, you're fine. As long as you're asking for a piece of information from a person from EU, that's the key. If you're not asking for information, you're good. Live life. Don't even worry about GDPR.
Live life. I love it.
If you have a website and you're running ads, don't worry about it because that's Facebook's problem. Only worry about it if you're using the data that was given to you by one party and you're going to the third party, which is Facebook, and using it over there. You have a problem, but that's a small subset of people.
So if you don't target your database, you just run an ad.
Don't worry about it. So I would say don't worry about this. And like I said, we came to this conclusion, like Mayanna and Mari Smith, she had a lawyer come on and they were asking questions and talking real deep into what United States citizens have to do. Now, the EU and Europe, they got a different ball of wax to deal with, and we don't have to worry about it.
That's why, what is it? Those newspapers that I read off, just shut it down. You know, I'm sorry.
They have more to deal with.
Yes, because they are crossing both. It's a Europe-owned company that owns some American newspapers. Right. So they definitely had something to deal with.
It was a quagmire, but the people that watch this show, I'm telling you, if you have a website and all you're doing is getting email addresses for a newsletter and nothing else, and you tell them that, you're good. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to recommit people to your list. You don't have to re-sign up. You don't have to say, you can if you want to, what the lawyer said. She said you can if you want to. It would be a nice, clean start.
Yes.
But she said don't send them emails now because everyone is inundated with emails. I mean, I look at my emails and it's like privacy policy. I was like, oh my God, I just stopped looking at
it. And so here's the thing too that I've found when I look at my open rates, they're not as high as my text open rates.
Right.
I'm like,
So does this apply to texts or only emails? Is this a thing where the legislators skipped a major piece like texting?
Well, because you're not, I mean.
Because they don't understand texting, they understand email.
Well, it's because if you take, like I said, if you're getting data from a party that visit your site and you're doing something else with it, like you said, sign up for my newsletter, but you're sending them texts, you have to ask them. You have to get the permission. They have to opt in and click it and say, I want SMS messages or text messages.
And see, that's already been in place anyway.
Right.
That particular thing has been in place anyway.
Yes. It's a California law.
Let me ask you this, California and everybody else. Why is it I can look on Facebook and it says, so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, they're all my friends, like this company.
That's just liking a company. You're not taking
that's within Facebook. Once you get in Facebook, that's something else.
That's got nothing to do with that because that's the data that's already in Facebook. That's not outside.
When you agree to sign up for Facebook, that's a Facebook agreement. Like I said, with running ads.
No, that's not an ad. That's a like.
That's Facebook.
Testimonial.
That's Facebook's world. That's Facebook world. That has nothing to do with GDPR.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're running ads in Facebook, you're fine. But if you're bringing in information that you gathered from a third party, which is your website, you cannot bring it into Facebook without getting permission. That's what it's about. Getting permission of the person data that you ask them to give them your information. You say, give me your email address for a newsletter. Boom, you're done. But if you say, give me your email address, and then you don't tell them what you do with it after that to go to a third party like Facebook, then you're in trouble.
Yep.
So if you're running Facebook ads, you're fine. It's just you cannot use the email address you got from your website without informing them because that's in consent. You have to get their consent. That's all this is, getting consent.
So just ask somebody, pretty much is the bottom line. Ask them, hi, we'd like you to sign up for our website, and you'll get tips and you'll get information to help you do business better.
Right.
They have to sign up for that. And
by putting their email address in and clicking subscribe, that's consent. But now if you want to, like Fran said, if you want to send them text messages, or you want to, I want to use your email address for ads, say it. Make a check. That's what those check boxes are when you go to MailChimp. When you have a list, there's little things you have to add to your form now.
That's ask you for. They've been asking you for years. Has this person given you permission to add them to the list? And you have to check the box when you list people in there.
No. When you have a newsletter and you say, sign up for my newsletter, I'm going to give you information. That's all you have to do. You don't have to check box or anything.
And Terry was talking about something else, like if you manually added somebody, then
no, you're never supposed to do that anyway.
MailChimp.
Yeah,
they want to know, did you ask that?
Right, because you can add people manually, but you're supposed to get their express consent.
Exactly.
So you do it.
So the best practice would be have a landing page that asks them for whatever information that you want.
Be upfront
and tell them what you're going to do with it. If you're going to use it to send them text messages, you want to put all of that in that sign up form.
In that sign up, and for the SMS messages, you have to have a check box. For Facebook ads, you have to have a check box. Those two, they have to check it. If they don't check it, you cannot send them text messages or use that email address in ads. So that's the two little parts that we got straight this week.
Well, now I feel more informed.
This was stimulating.
Well, it was necessary. It really was necessary because there was a lot of confusion, and people, we're here to help you do business better. Well, you need information to do business better. You can't just have your head in the sand, or that doesn't apply, la, 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 la. No, you need to listen up.
You have to be informed, and that's what we're doing here every day of the week. Information that you need to know and use. Yes. And it's not legal advice. Like I said, this was something I heard from the lawyer, and she said that she wasn't giving out specific legal advice, general advice on GDPR, and that was one of her recommendations, that because we were in the United States, our burden of proof, our level that to bear is lower than over in Europe. We don't have that much to worry about. Just have a privacy policy, have it available on your website, and say what you're going to say. If they're signing up for a newsletter, saying you're signing up for a newsletter, and that's it. But if you want those two extra things, like Fran was saying about the text messages, and then I was saying about Facebook ads using the email, you have to get their consent on the form. Otherwise, you don't need it.
Well, this has been a lively conversation. Thank you all for watching, and anybody who tuned in. I sent it out to LinkedIn today. So if you're watching from LinkedIn, we want to say thank you. From YouTube, Twitter, wherever you got the notification, we just want to appreciate you so much for tuning in. If you're watching from Terry's feed, TJ's feed, thank you. Watching the replay, thank you. We will be back next week talking more tech. And
oh my gosh,
it is Memorial Day weekend, so stay safe and enjoy your weekend. Have a little fun. And remember those who gave the ultimate price for our freedom.
That's what the holiday is about.
All about. Yes, it is. Not just a barbecue. Not just a barbecue.
Not just a barbecue, people.
All righty then. Thank you so much. And we will see you all Monday.
Okay.
Yes, Monday. We will be back on Monday.
Okay.
All right.
All right, guys. Don't forget to go to the front of your own line, because freedom isn't free.
Yes, it is. It's not free. It is not free.
Somebody gave a life. See you later.